Well, welcome to Dan Really Likes Wine with Pick and Pay. Welcome to probably my favorite restaurant on the planet. Not just because the food's great, but I just love being here. It's a wonderful environment. One of my best mates runs it. It is Marble, and it's home to David Higgs, the acclaimed chef. But for once, David Higgs is not the best chef in his own restaurant, because with me today is probably the most famous person ever to come out of Lebanon, and certainly the most famous Lebanese person I've ever met. Joe Barza, welcome to South Africa.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
It is an absolute delight to have you, an honor
It's
to
an honor
have you.
for me.
But I have to start with a complaint.
Tell
Because
me.
I had dinner here last night, which you cooked, and I think you are a kindred spirit of my Greek mother-in-law, because by the time I'd finished all the food that you gave me, I could barely move. But it was sensational and such a wonderful celebration of the food for which you are so famous.
Yeah, you see, the thing is in our culture, and now it's becoming more a la mode, is when people they share. So food, it's a pleasure. Food is love. Food unite people. So that's why we put many varieties, and you sit and you share with other people. That's the best thing about it. And it's becoming like a big wave all over the world.
And it made for a wonderfully engaged table. We were all talking and tasting,
Exactly.
and stealing each other's food very happily.
Exactly.
And it was a wonderful selection of flavors. And you come from a part of the world that over the last few years, led by people like Yotta Motalengi, is showing more of the Middle Eastern food to the rest of the world, and people just embracing it and loving it. And what you gave us last night seemed to be a particularly rich and vibrant celebration of Lebanese cuisine.
You know, I try every time I travel, every time I go to do promotion like this one, every time I try to improve, and I try to give the best of what we have, and to show that, you see, the Lebanese cuisine is very well known all over the world, because we are 4 million in Lebanon and 20 million all over. Now what I am trying to do, because it was housewife cooking, now we are trying to put the professional and the science and the heart and everything inside.
So what was your journey to becoming this rock star chef that you are now? When did you fall in love with food, and when did you decide this was become your life?
If I tell you, you'll never believe, because I fall in love with food in South Africa. Yeah, I came to South Africa in 1988.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned how to cook.
You learned to cook in South Africa?
And on my body I have the flag of a head chef, the chef hat, and the flag of South Africa. This is loyalty.
That's wonderful. How did that come about? Where were you cooking?
In my country I used to be a bodyguard, and it was too much for me, the war, and I decided to flee, to leave the country. And a friend of mine, he lives in South Africa. Well, I'm always grateful to him. His name is Alec. So he said, I'm gonna bring you to South Africa. He paid me the ticket, everything.
Yeah.
I came, and I started with him. He used to have a small restaurant in Hillbrow a long time ago. And then I moved to the airport. We used to cater for the airline, air chefs. I work with Brian McEwen. And that's how everything happened.
Ah, so you're yet another person we as South Africa can lay claim to as one of our own.
And that's why I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're incredibly happy to have you here, not just because of the cooking, but because your schedule is so crazy, given that you don't just have a restaurant in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Talk us through all the outposts that you have around the world.
Well, you know, I was clever, and I had vision, and I believed in the Lebanese cuisine, and not the very, very, very basic one. You know, I love the basic one, but I tried to polish it. So that's why there is attraction, and you know, it's not only about cooking. It's about cooking, the charisma, the character, the way how you treat people, the way how they treat you, and you impose your respect. So that's why I work for big chains, and I open everywhere in New York, India, Australia, in Europe, all the Arab Gulf. We have many restaurants.
They all stem, though, from a cuisine of Lebanon. Talk to me a little bit about Beirut, what life is like. It's a very exotic place for those of us in South Africa who haven't been there. What's life like in Beirut now, and what's the food scene like in Lebanon in general?
Well, I've been many places in the world. Not because I'm Lebanese, like Beirut. You know, Beirut doesn't sleep. During the day, people, they just want to be happy. People, they just want to have fun. So they start to party from Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we all together, you know. So, and you have the cultural part. You know, Beirut is 6,000 years old. And you find the contrast between the old Beirut and the new Beirut, and this is amazing. The people, the hospitality, the restaurant, and the food. We are leaders in the Middle East. We are leaders, thanks God, because of what our ancestors gave us. We are leaders. So everybody wants to copy the concept of Lebanese cuisine.
It's a country that's got a difficult history. You've had some challenging times.
Yes.
Is it now a country at peace? Is it a country we can go and happily visit?
We get used to it.
Yeah.
We get used to it, you know. But we adapt. We are people that, and we have the four seasons. We have like till now we still have snow, and people are swimming. And you just have to ride 40 minutes, and you are up in the mountain, 1,900 altitude.
It sounds like a beautiful country. It's a place
I'm
very keen to come and visit.
It is.
And what's great is I'm not going to need a passport, because if I just show a photo of me with you when I arrive at the airport, I'll be absolutely fine.
Kind of, if you want. Yeah.
You're here now. It's a short visit, but I know it's one you've loved. What's been the highlight of this particular trip for you?
You see, the highlight is the personality of David Higgs, and the charm of the restaurant. I really love the concept, and there is a very good relation between me and David, and he invited me, and I told him, listen, end of May, beginning of June, I will be here. And I'm very, very proud that the Lebanese community in South Africa, they were so generous. You know, every night we have 50% to 60% from our customers are Lebanese, and I'm really proud, and I thank them.
Well, I think they're thanking you because you've brought some of their home into Marble over the course of this week, and it's been an absolute delight. The food of Lebanon is becoming more established around the world, but so too is Lebanese wine, and there's one wine estate in particular we're going to be trying in just a moment. But tell me a little bit more about wine in Lebanon and how big a role it plays in Lebanese society.
You know, one of the oldest country in the world to produce wine in Lebanon, if you go back to the history. But during the Ottoman, 400 years they stopped because they were not allowed to use alcohol, you know. Yeah. And after 400 years they restart with the Jesuit, the priest that they came from France. But for us, the Lebanese people, during the whole war and after, we were not familiar with wine. Bearing in mind, we have very good grapes, we have very good season, we have different altitude, which is excellent for the wine. We used to drink hard alcohol, but 10 years ago till now, we have more than 40 domains. And the Lebanese wine is becoming, because now we know the value, and they brought analog from Spain, France, and they were really impressed with the wine. So now we have a huge consumption of wine. During summer, no one wants to drink. They used to think that Lebanese food doesn't match with the wine, but now all the Lebanese restaurants, they have wine, rosé, white, red, and it's becoming really big.
In terms of the different varietals, the different styles, is it a predominantly red area, certain types of grapes?
You see, all the grapes are good, but and the land, they're all similar because the most of them, they go to the Bekaa Valley. But now it's the advertising, the bottle, the PR, but the most of them are really good.
Now this is one I'm really looking forward to trying. This is the Chateau Musar.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this. In particular, there's a rather sad story about the owner.
Yeah, this is very, very old, and one of it is like the Lebanese flag all over the world, because the guy was very clever, and he promoted this wine not in Lebanon only, all over in France, in Europe, America, everywhere. And I know him personally. I used to cook for him, and the gentleman was in Mexico for vacation, and he was swimming, and then he disappeared at 72 years old. So it's sad.
He leaves behind a great legacy, and that legacy is now world-famous wine. Now, if I have a look, it is about 9 o'clock in the morning, which I think is a really good time for our first glass of Lebanese wines. I'm going to pour a little of this. So this is a 2013 from the, am I saying it right, the Bekaa Valley?
Yes. Yes.
I've been working on my Lebanese.
Bekaa Valley, yes. The Bekaa is amazing. Also, we have another kind of alcohol from the grapes, is the arak. It's very similar to Ricard and Ouzo. The Bekaa is the land for the grapes.
Right, so this is a red blend. I think there's some Grenache and some Cinsault and some Cab Sauv in that. Oh, the colour's looking beautiful. How important for you as a chef is wine? What role does it play in the food that you make?
It is very important to me, especially in my Lebanese cuisine, because as I told the people, they prefer to drink arak. And now, since 10 years, and I was, you see, because it's like, if you used to run 10 kilometers, and now you want to start to run 20, you have to get trained. So it's an ongoing communication with the people, and let them try that this one goes really, the white wine goes very well with the kibbe. The kibbe, everybody wants to drink arak with it. It took me a long time, me and the producer, of course, to achieve what we are now. So now they order a bottle of wine. I'm very happy, very pleased, because it's not like French cuisine, it's not like Italian, you know, it's part of their culture, South African. No, now it's becoming. And I'm thrilled, really.
Well, I'm sure you're playing a big role in that development, so well done to you.
Thank you very much, thanks. Cheers.
Cheers, Jay. Right, so...
And this is one of the finest wine.
Ah, with one of the finest chefs, it's a good combination.
I like it.
Oh yeah, there's a lovely richness to it, and I'm thinking back to my palate last night from the 27 courses that you thrust upon me, and I'm thinking how this would play off. It would cut through that fat of the lamb so beautifully. The different starters that you gave us, I think I counted a dozen of them at least. Now this would play so nicely with the
Did you like the tuna?
Flavors. Very much so. Very much so. But even such the simple things, the different spreads, the different dips.
Yes.
Just a really nice, fresh, bold collection of flavors.
So I always, we keep on trying because of our loyalty to our land, to the people that they work in this cuisine long time ago. So like the hummus, I mixed the hummus with basil, the green one yesterday. Yeah. And it gives very nice flavor, and people, they like it. Yeah. First of all, they said, no, we don't want to try it. And, you know, but you have to dare. Daring is very important. Yeah. Same what happened with the wine.
Yeah. And it's something we try to do on this show, is to get people to be adventurous, to try things. People often have, say, a curry and think, well, I'll have a beer with a curry, when in fact a Chenin Blanc, for example, will be so much fun with it. The same applies to all food, really.
This is part of the communication. This is part of education, because also the wine and the food is part of our culture. We have the grape, but people, they didn't like to drink. They like hard alcohol. Now, top.
Well, I can see why the change is being made, because this is just a lovely bottle of wine. And it's available in South Africa. Derek Kilpin, the guys at Great Domains, the guys who bring this into South Africa, so it's available. It's also available here, of course, at Marble. And although the great Joe Barza won't be here for much longer, you've left a lot of memories. You've left a legacy. I've got no doubt that David's team have learned a huge amount from you over the course of this time, which really leads to one last question. How soon can we expect you back in South Africa, Joe?
Yeah, I would love to come back. My daughter was born here, and I'm gonna bring her. I promise her to bring her. She was born in Mary Mountain here in Johannesburg, so I'm gonna bring her, and I'm gonna bring my son. And I promised David that we'll do this event once per year, and I'm gonna bring him over to Beirut also to exchange. It's because people, I would like that people to know more about South African cuisine. And that's it from me. I would like to thank you very much for your interest in my career and in the Lebanese cuisine and Lebanese wine.
Well, I'm very glad that South Africa's played a little bit of role in
Big
role. Thank you for coming to spend some time with us. And just as you're going to take David over, so I am going to make my way at some point in the next little while over to Beirut. It's a city I've always wanted to visit, and I've got an added reason because I now know the guy who runs Beirut. So
you will be amazed. Really, you will be amazed.
I can't wait. So I had the opportunity to eat with Joe Barza. I've now had the opportunity to drink with him with some fine Chateau Musar from Lebanon. The wine is lovely. The food is even lovelier. Lebanon, here I come. That's another week of Dan Really Likes Wine with Pick and Pay with the great Lebanese chef Joe Barza. Remember, if you're looking for some wine, jump online with Pick and Pay. Their wine club will get you going. I'm not sure you'll find too much Lebanese wine, but it'll certainly point you in the right wine direction. Until next week, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much.